Hi guys, what's going on, and welcome back to another episode of Total War Arena. So, we haven't made it to the tier 6 on the Barbarians. I'm still filming this at the time of the Barbarian Infantry Weekend, so that meant they were reduced, so it made it kind of a bit easier for me to get up, although this will be probably midweek by the time this video actually comes out. But yeah, on to the tier 6s. They're quite decent, I'm quite enjoying them so far. I was lucky enough that I had a few things to carry over from the various other Barbarian units, like the War Dogs and also the Falzman. Things like the Raider Trousers, which gives that nice little boost to movement speed, as well as turn speed and a little body armour. And I'm also running with the Feral War Paint. Obviously you've got the choice between the War Point and the Raider Chainmail to give it an increased body armour. Obviously you can put that on, make them a bit tougher. But for me, you know, I just have a preference to the movement speed because their base body armor is actually pretty low, 101 or 103 with the trousers. You know, taking that to like 113 or 114 or what it is with the chainmail, it makes a little difference. It's just, you've got no body armor, you know. A percentage increase to 0% is still not a lot, so I'd rather have the movement speed. And with the movement speed, I'm now getting pretty decent, about 4.9 with the various upgrades. Spiked hair, I may do that because that copies across to the War Dogs as well. I also know this is the increased weapon damage, the penetration. It's a significant increase to penetration actually. What's their base penetration? 22. And we'll go up to what, 33? Okay, it's interesting. We'll have to get that as a top priority, the sword. And then there's obviously the upgraded shield as well. Although you lose quite a bit of missile block chance to achieve that, so it's almost not that much of an upgrade really. But there we go. Other than that, what else has changed? Consumables have changed slightly. On the tier 5s, I was running them with the Spar 5, because that gave the melee attack and the shield armor. But now we're at tier 6, all the consumables have gained another attribute. So Spar gained impact damage. Pretty irrelevant. We do have harass, but it's so crap as an actual damaging charge. Plus 9 impact damage isn't going to make any significant difference to that. And Sweros before was the movement speed and the impact damage, which was tempting, but I missed out on the melee attack. But now melee attack, plus 5 melee attack, has been added to the Sweros. So that actually makes it a lot more tempting now compared to Spar, which is why I've gone with it, because I'm getting the movement speed and the melee attack, which is what I wanted. Because obviously melee attack's always the shortened thing on these guys. And give that plus 5 takes it to 100, makes them a bit more competitive. I did consider Feast, because we get the melee defense, melee weapon damage and penetration. But weapon damage and penetration only come into effect after you've actually landed a hit, which is where the melee attack comes into play. So, really, in my opinion, as a general rule, melee attack is always more important. There are a few exceptions to that, but generally, melee attack over damage. So, yeah, so I went with that, and obviously that's why we've got that pretty good 4.9 base movement speed now. On top of that, we have got Javelins back, thankfully. Don't know why they got taken away from us at tier 5, but now they're back, and yeah, pretty pleased about that. I think that's certainly a good thing. So, I think that's enough chatting for me. Let's hop into battle and see how we get on. So, we are loading into battle. Looks like we've got pretty decent matchmaking going on here. Mostly tier 5s, a couple of tier 6s dotted around. So, hopefully we should have some favourable conditions. We're going to spawn up here in the north by the looks of it. And I think I'll push into this forest here, see what we see. And I'll do my classic sort of lining up against here so we get visibility into this triangle. See if anything comes our way, see if we can catch any cavalry or anything like that. Then we'll see how we get on. Looks like we've got quite a lot of infantry on our team, a few ranged units, we've got some slingers and some archers. So the enemy may have some slingers as well. Slingers really are my main enemy, I think, for these guys at the moment. Because I just don't really have enough speed to catch them, and they just have such range. And because of the relatively low armour, relatively poor missile block chance, 51 of these guys, I kind of suffer pretty badly when they start getting shot at the front by slingers. But anyway, let's move into this forest and see how we get on from there. Obviously, if we can fight in this forest, it's obviously good because we get their melee attack and defense bonus. We've got some Principes moving into the centre. So we should start to get visibility here. Hopefully we're set far enough back from the forest edge that we shouldn't be able to be spotted. Obviously, if you sit too close, you will be visible. Yeah, let's just see if anything comes our way. In the meantime, we can see where the rest of the team's deploying. Kind of, really, we are entirely on our own. Okay, Punic Mercenaries. I'll fight them without too much hesitation. So, how are we going to play this? Obviously, it's going to hit our commander's units, which is a shame. It depends a little bit on these guys being on their own, which, of course, we don't know if they are. Let's go for the charge. Okay, so we're in. Let's move these other 2 units round quickly. Defiance. Okay, you push that way. We want to make sure they're engaged so they're not completely on their own, and then we're going to go for a flame straight into the back of them. Looks like we've got some cavalry on the way to support us, which is good. These guys are engaged. Oh, that's friendly cavalry. Okay, so we're in defiance on all units. The amount of modifiers we've going on our units at the moment. This is pretty crazy. Presumably they have gone into ad porters, which they have. And we're trying to apply as much pressure as we can onto this unit. We're not getting them to rout, which is a shame, although one of them at the back here looks like it's routed. Causing a bit of friendly fire damage. Okay, dogs. Oh, Struth. Oh, a lot of damage there. No, not you guys. You stay engaged there. These guys are going to try and deal with the dog. Let's go for a shield bash. We're going to have a bit of a hard time killing these dogs, I think. This was an interesting turn of events. They pulled the dogs back. Understandable. I'm going to pull off and go for a charge. See if we can get a little bit of damage on these guys. We've got our shield bash back. Let's go for that. Try and keep these dogs pinned down. We are being flanked. These guys are going to rout. Okay, pull back. Wow. Keep up your shield bash. If we can get one of these, start routing these guys, that would be good. So they're going to rout. But I think we're going to be rear flanked and routing ourselves if we're not careful. Which we are. You're going to rout as well. Fucking hell. Everyone is on the retreat today. Let's keep the shield bashes up. Those guys have been completely chased off by the enemy dogs, which hasn't been particularly helpful. Let's head over. I'm going to try and throw some javelins at them. Not very helpful. We're having a bit of a hard time against these dogs because we're like the main target. This isn't very helpful for us. Let's just try and keep the pressure up on them. I think we're going to be killed pretty convincingly here. I don't think we're going to get another chance to shield bash in. No, we're not. So we're down to 1 unit. Though our aggression is obviously very high. We've got some armoured legionaries who have turned up. We're again being flanked by these blooming dogs. Who are causing us quite the issue. But more friendly troops are turning up. As we're just continuing to have to fight these dogs. Trying to use the shield bash because that gives us a good amount of damage. You can see how much damage we do to the dogs when we get that shield bash activated. But obviously the dogs are just so outnumbering us. Because we were having to fight Principes and the dogs. Principes, the Punic mercenaries and the dogs all at the same time. It's all a bit much for us. I don't know if we're going to be able to do this without retreating. I'll go for the Iron Discipline to try and keep us in the battle. I think we're just going to be dead though, to be honest. What an intense fight. Well, that is the end of us. Wow. And it looks like the battle is actually going against us. I thought that would have done enough. Those dogs, obviously following the buffs they got in the last patch, are now very strong. Even though our strikes are still quite effective against them, in combat we are can do nowhere near as much damage against them, obviously, because they've now got that massive 66% boost to their melee defense, which means it's a lot harder for us to land hits on them. I mean, as you can see, it was a lot harder. If those dogs hadn't turned up, we'd have wiped those Punic mercenaries out pretty convincingly. Obviously, those dogs kind of overwhelmed us a little bit there. It looks like our Roman infantry are also kind of struggling, to be honest. They've got vengeance activated, yeah. They should be able to beat these handlers without too much trouble. And most of the dogs should be dead. These guys want to keep in combat if they can. Yeah, even with vengeance activated, it looks like they're struggling against these dogs, to be honest. They should be killing the handlers pretty strongly, I would have thought. I thought these guys are going to want to come back around and get involved as well. Going for heavy infantry charge. Yeah, they have. Ooh, that was devastating. Good move there by our Romans. It looks like we caused something to rout, but then they're routing themselves. And we've been capped out. Okay, well that was a fairly intense battle. Didn't really plan out quite how I had intended, but we'll take it. That's not too bad. Yeah. Okay. So it was a defeat. But we got a decent amount of damage in there. We've got quite a lot of aggression points in there. So yeah, so my kind of a plan was when we saw those Punic mercenaries, particularly how they'd sort of formed themselves up into that line, so that I could engage them with 1 or 2 units and keep a unit 3, which is always what I'm trying to achieve with the Barbarians, because by me engaging the 3 Punic mercenaries with only 2, I'm sort of forming a front. I don't need to worry about that 3rd unit, because it's just engaged in the fight, and they're all over the same amount of ground, so it's still man on man. Having lots of units clustered into the back of a fight makes no difference, and they're giving me that third unit and myself free enables me to throw a scorched earth into the back of them, which is obviously what I'm trying to do, and then sort of flank round, which is what I was trying to do. Which worked quite well, particularly nicely when our friendly cavalry then turned up. But then those dastardly bloody war dogs turned up, and made things a little bit more difficult for us. But still, we didn't do too badly. I think we sort of fought as well as we could given the circumstances. These war dogs are pretty good now, following the changes in the patch, so maybe I'll be having to get back on them and start getting them probably upgraded. So hopefully you enjoyed this look at the tier 6 barbarians. Whether I'll get them onto the tier 7s, probably not before the end of the Barbarian Weekend. But we'll probably get well on the way there. We've almost got them fully upgraded already, to be honest. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Yeah, subscribe to the channel for lots more Total War Arena content. We're really starting to get up good now in the subscribers. I'm really trying to push for that 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, please hit that subscribe button. And I shall see you all on the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.